I think we're starting to figure out who some of these teams are, who they are, what they can do, what they look like when they play a good football team. Welcome into the show, everybody. It is the week 4 recap show for college football. It's me, Ian Fritts. Thank you so much for watching. If you wouldn't mind, go ahead and drop down below and hit the subscribe button, like this video, comment down below, and we're going to jump right into it. The show today, we have game recaps, 3 of them coming your way. We have muffins. Stay tuned for that. It's a good one. And then we have the what if poll, which is my top 25. I think we're starting to figure out where some of these teams should be. Who's real, who's fake, why they're real. I think we're starting to figure some things out. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to jump in. First game recap. It is Auburn Tigers at the Oklahoma Sooners, number 22 versus number 11. It was the Jackson Arnold revenge game, or what I deemed the Oklahoma revenge game, because to me this felt more like Oklahoma's trying to get revenge. What was Jackson Arnold trying to get revenge for? Nothing really. He stunk last year. Anyways, he came back to Norman to a chorus of boos, a chorus of profanities shouted his way, and he was trying to he give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. I hear you, I hear you. And boy, did he hit the ground a lot. What a weird football game. What a weird football game. You see it right next to me. You see it right next to me. These teams combined for 99 rushing yards on 70 attempts. That's 60 attempts, 70 attempts, something around there. 99 yards on 60 to 70 attempts. That's horrific rushing football. Really good defense. They had 21 penalties, 15 of those in the first half. Horrific. It was so weird to watch this football game. Just super odd. First things first, though, we're going to talk about the winning team here. Oklahoma, they get it done 24-17 in regulation. OU's defense, that's the story coming out of this game. How do I say this? It is elite. I'm just going to throw it out there. Well, the defensive line, the front seven, is elite. We're there. We're there, okay? This Auburn offensive line, especially their interior 3 guys, were touted as maybe the best interior guys in all of college football. They move dudes off the ball. They set in pass protection. They protect their quarterback, okay? Oklahoma heard all that and said, these jokers really think they're going to stop us from getting a Jackson Arnold. And they came out of here firing. 10 sacks. 10. 7 of those, I believe, were in the first half. And Oklahoma came out of the gate swinging, and they came after Jackson Arnold hard. It really wasn't even like they brought a bunch of blitzes. It was really the stunts up front, especially the interior stunts with the 2 defensive tackles that just wreaked havoc on that interior defensive line from Auburn. The defensive line from Oklahoma is unbelievable. It is insanity how good this thing is. And they've done it 2 weeks now against a Michigan offensive line that is really, really good, and against an Auburn offensive line that is really, really good. And Oklahoma's defensive line has owned the line of scrimmage. They said, hey, this piece of land here, this is ours, and if you try to do anything on it, we will kill you. And they did. They have. They get after the quarterback, and they get after him quick. Okay, the second thing is, you can't run the football on this team. It is literally impossible. You cannot do it. Auburn had 1 run for, I believe, 40 yards maybe, and that was Jeremiah Cobb just getting loose. They had him in the backfield, and then they subsequently missed about 4 tackles within 10 yards of the line of scrimmage, and he just busted free. Funny enough, a defensive end had to chase him down from Oklahoma. But that was really the only play where Auburn got loose in the run game. Other than that, 35 rushes for 27 yards. You take that, unbelievable. It was a brick wall, a stone wall, a fortress. You couldn't run on it, okay? And thinking back to the Michigan game, Michigan couldn't run the ball in Oklahoma either. They had the 175-yard run. Yes, mental mistake by Oklahoma there. Other than that, Michigan rushed for about 30 yards on like 35 attempts. Michigan just ran for 300 yards on Nebraska. Nebraska's defense hasn't been bad, ladies and gentlemen. They haven't given up that much. And they gave up 300. Michigan's offensive line, just imposing their will on Nebraska. Couldn't do anything on this Oklahoma defensive line. You get after the quarterback quickly and you stop the run. Those are two recipes for success for Oklahoma. This defensive line is unbelievable, folks. It is unbelievable. They're a brick wall. I'm not sure how you do anything on them. It's such a good defensive line, and you can't state how good it is. Okay, like on a scale of 1 to 10, it's a 10, and I'm not exaggerating. Like they're that good on the defensive front. They bring in guys. They got 4 or 5 guys on that interior defensive line that can just wreak havoc, and then they have about 6 guys off the edge that they feel comfortable with. It's very impressive what Brent Venables has done there, and you have to give him his flowers because he was tasked with bringing in a relentless, suffocating, fast, physical defense, and that's exactly what we saw yesterday from that defensive front. Jackson Arnold couldn't breathe in the pocket. It was unreal. Now, offensively, Mateer, this is the second good thing for Oklahoma. He got it done when it needed. He got it done when they needed it to. They were down 17-16, 7 minutes left in the football game. They hadn't been moving the ball in the second half of this game, and they went 75 yards in 7 plays, and John Mateer ran it in, continues his streak of 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown. He's in the company of, I believe, Tim Tebow, Johnny Manziel, and Lamar Jackson, I believe, was the third person. I could be wrong on that third one. There were 3 guys, all won the Heisman Trophy. John Mateer is now in that company. Obviously, those guys did it in the same season, so we'll see. But he has what it takes. He has the stones to get it done when you need to get it done. So that all of those are the good things for Oklahoma. Let's talk about the bad, because there was some bad from this Oklahoma Sooner team in this football game. Some things to worry about. The secondary, that was my biggest question for OU coming into this football game. I said, are they as good as the statistics say they are? Okay, they were statistically a top 5 secondary in all of college football coming in. Coming out of it, I don't think they are that. However, all of the things they had happen to them are fixable, and all of the things that hurt them are really because Auburn has a freak of nature in Cam Coleman on the offensive side of the football at wide receiver, who's going to be a top 10 pick next year. And he just had a day against a true freshman wide receiver, all in the first half, by the way. So really, let's break it down. Okay, so there was one where OU pinned Auburn deep at the 3-yard line, I believe, after a just 67, 68-yard punt by their punter. And Auburn, for whatever reason, decided to catch that thing over the shoulder, run into the end zone, and bring it out. And OU stuffed them on the punt game there. Got him at the 3-yard line. So situational football here. They got it to 2nd and 10. Okay, 2nd and 10. Auburn is down at their own 3-yard line. They have to go 97 yards. OU has a true freshman corner on the far side of the football field, lined up one-on-one against Cam Coleman. One-on-one against Cam Coleman. They've already taken a shot earlier in this football game in this exact same situation. The exact same situation, and they hit Cam Coleman for a 50-yarder down the middle of the field. The exact same situation. The reason why I said it's fixable is because this true freshman has never seen this before. He's never seen this before. He wants to be aggressive. He's got to learn his lesson. You can't be that aggressive when they have to go 97 yards. It's 2nd and 10. Let your defensive line get to Jackson Arnold. Don't bite on this stop and go. Play some soft coverage. Just don't let anybody behind you. So they snap the ball. Jackson Arnold gets it. He looks Cam Coleman's way, and he throws this ball up in the middle. I mean, he just lofts it up. And Cam Coleman has about 5 yards of separation. He goes up, catches the ball. It's about a 47, 50-yard gain. Okay, so it was undisciplined, just bad situational awareness from the secondary in the first half of this game. Really, they didn't have one of those plays the rest of the game. Auburn did. So you got to be aware. You got to be aware of where you are on the field, of what the down and distance is, who you have on the defensive line. You don't need to be jumping these stop and goes, especially you got to know who you're going up against. You got to know who you're going up against. And Auburn did a really good job of that, knowing that this true freshman corner loves to jump those stop and goes. And they made him pay 3 times in this football game. Made him pay 3 times in this football game. So you got to be aware. That's why it's fixable. That is why it's fixable. I have no doubts Brent Venables is going to get that fixed, and they got it fixed in the second half. They had a safety over the top. Auburn didn't do it the rest of the game, and that was basically their entire offense the entire football game. I believe 99 of those yards were to Cam Coleman for Jackson Arnold here on your screen of the 220, and they were on 3 plays. Other than that, OU's pass defense was pretty stellar the entire football game. Now, the offense. What was bad from OU from the offense here? They killed themselves with no gains or negative yardage plays to start their drives. So they had 11 drives in this football game. I'm excluding the one before half and the one at the end of the game. So they had 11 drives. 5 of the 11 went for 0 yards or negative yardage plays, either penalties or just negative yards on first down. It's hard to get momentum when you're starting behind the chains. This is what happened to OU all of last year, basically. That the first down play was for negative yardage or no gain. It's hard to get your offense in a flow when you are going backwards on the first play. So they have to clean that up. I thought some of the play calls were a little weird. 2nd and 2, I believe they ran a double reverse. That's not the time to run a double reverse. Double reverse is like 2nd and 7, something like that. 2nd and 2 is either you run the ball or you throw it, you take a shot, okay? Because double reverse is you're either losing 10 yards or you get a 50-yard gain. It's too feast or famine. You cannot go backwards when you just had a nice positive rushing play, one of the few for Oklahoma in this football game. So I thought a little bit of some odd play calls. But look, I'm nitpicking here. They got the ball moving when they needed to. So they have a bye week coming up. They will get healthy there through the bye week, and then they have Kent State after that. They'll get healthy the Kent State week, and then they have Texas. So basically, a couple weeks off for Oklahoma here, and then the meat of their schedule starts where they play just an unreal amount of ranked teams. It will be fun. Auburn. They're a better football team than I thought they were. However, they had every chance to win this football game if Jackson Arnold could just hit an open receiver in stride, okay? He had, I believe, 3 or 4, it could have been 5 opportunities where Cam Coleman was wide open down the field and he overthrew him by about 10 yards. If he hits him in stride on all of those plays, they score 35 points in this football game, and Auburn is being talked about as a top 15, top 10 caliber team in the entire country, and he just couldn't hit the open guy. He couldn't do it. Also, I have to address the illegal touchdown from Oklahoma here. The rumor has it the OU wide receiver addressed the referee. He said, "Hey, I'm good right here, right?" And the referee said, "Yeah, you're all good." Auburn never saw him, and sure enough, it was a touchdown for OU. The SEC officiating has come out and said, "Hey, this was illegal. You should not be allowed to do this." I got a fly here coming at me. So if I try and kill him in the middle of this video, disregard, or congratulate me. It was an illegal play. The referees missed it. They were abysmal all game for both teams. Yes, they missed it. That's not why Auburn lost this game. Okay, hit your open guys and don't give up 10 sacks. Maybe try that next time. Big win for OU. The bye week is much needed. Here we go. Next game. Texas Tech at Utah. Going to take a sip here from the patented mug. If you want one of these, drop a comment down below, an email down below, and we will get one to you. Texas Tech at Utah. I believe they win 34-10. Yeah, 34-10. You heard that correctly, folks. Wow. My biggest question coming into this football game was, is this defense from Texas Tech legit? Statistically, they had one of the best stop rates, and that's how often or what percentage of drives the opposing team doesn't get points on. They I believe, were a top 5 team in that stop rate category. It's a great metric for a defensive football team. And I was really curious, how good are they? Because you're going up against a Utah offense that's been moving the ball pretty well here to start the season. Okay? How good are you, this Texas Tech defense? Well, folks, I think they're pretty good. Utah scored on 2 drives. I believe they had 11 drives. That's pretty good. good. This defense from Texas Tech, statistically, they were unbelievable coming into this game. Statistically, they're unbelievable going out of this game. They're even better than I thought they were. I thought the statistics were real because I've watched them play football, unlike a lot of people. They're a very good football team. Everybody needs to be put on notice, especially the Big 12. It is Texas Tech's league now with the amount of money they've pumped into that program. It's no secret. You can say that now. It's okay. And it's okay if you're a Texas Tech fan to be like, yeah, we're pumping in a lot of money. You should be proud of that. You should be proud of the investment from your uppers, your higher up fans that just own a gazillion companies and have a bazillion dollars, okay? You should be thrilled with the amount of money they're putting into this football team, okay? Look, Dampier, you see it right there. He had 38 attempts, 162 yards. Not what you want in your yards per attempt category there, if you want to do the math there. Not a great situation. Not a great situation. Just around 3 there, I believe. 2 interceptions, just horrific. Bad interceptions. They ran the ball 31 times for 101 yards. That's not going to get it done. That's not going to get it done. The talk in this football game was Texas Tech's defensive line versus Utah's offensive line. Some were saying Kyle Whittingham himself, head coach for Utah, said this is the best offensive line I've ever had at Utah. I believe he said probably. So he didn't want to give it away yet. But I believe he thought that. Maybe he should go back to the drawing board. I don't think he should. The offensive line, I think, is fine. It's just that this defensive line that Texas Tech pumped a bunch of money into, they pumped a bunch of money into it, and they paid the right guys because that defensive line is a brick wall. They get after the passer. This defense from Texas is for real, ladies and gentlemen. It is for real. They forced 4 turnovers. I already mentioned the 2 interceptions. They had 2 punches of the football in the first half. Just great defense. Just expert coaching. That's what you coach your guys to do. Punch that football, and they nailed it in the first half. Just some exceptional football from Texas Tech offensively. I said it coming into the game, they're going to score points. This offense has too many good skill guys that they're not going to score points. They've been awesome. I said it. Baron Morton was going to have a nice day. Maybe I was right about Baron Morton. Let's address that. Maybe I was right about Baron Morton. I said he was just a guy coming in, just your average white guy, generic white guy. And I said it last year when Hammond come into play sometimes. I said Hammond's a better quarterback. The offense looks smoother when Will Hammond is in there at quarterback instead of Baron Morton. Morton went out of the game with a concussion, I believe. Look, I hope he's not injured. Want him to be okay. But Texas Tech, you need to recognize who the better quarterback is in this offense. It's Hammond. He can run the ball better. It looks smoother. The operation does when he's in there at quarterback. And he just did this against a really good Utah defense when he wasn't going to be the guy in this football game. Not to mention Baron Morton had the 2 interceptions in the first half. I think they have their guy at quarterback. I don't think they're going to go with Will Hammond, but they should. They need to, folks. They need to. He is the better quarterback. If they want to make noise in the playoff, you got to go with Will Hammond. They can win the Big 12 with Baron Morton. But if you want to win a game in the playoffs, you got to have Will Hammond as your guy, Texas Tech. Congrats to Texas Tech, man. The money paid off. The defense revamped. The offensive line revamped. The skill guys, awesome. What's his name? Number 20. Blanking on his name. He's awesome out of the backfield. Just a fun football team to watch. They should probably win every game on their schedule. Was looking at it earlier. It's not a tough schedule for Big 12 metrics anyways. They should be 12-0 with how good their football team is, how good that defense is. They're legit. Utah, kind of sad. Okay, they're going to win a bunch of football games, but they're not as high level as some people thought they were. I didn't think they were super high level coming into this football game. I thought Texas Tech was better, and I think Texas Tech is even better than I thought, and I think Utah's a little worse than I thought. And I think that's okay. That's okay. This was the first test for both of these football teams. It's okay to adjust what you thought of these teams once they actually play a football team. So congrats to Texas Tech. Big time football win. Big time players on your football team. Next game up. Oh, baby, I need to take a sip before we get to Syracuse at Clemson, folks. Oh, fresh spring water. That's all I drink on this show. What is happening in Death Valley? Half. If you're new to the show, Death Valley 1.0, which is just Death Valley, is LSU Baton Rouge. Death Valley half, which is like baby version of Death Valley, is Clemson. So Death Valley half, you have some real issues. I am not sure where you go moving forward. This is the most disappointing team in all of college football. You're 1-3. 1-3. Preseason number 4 football team. Preseason number 4. Some people had you winning the national championship. And if you're new to the show, you know why I'm smiling. If you've been watching the show, you know why I'm smiling. Some people had you winning the national championship, and you start the season 1-3. You make those people look like clowns, Dabo. You don't want to make people look like clowns. You're a nice guy. What are you doing that to him for? That's not nice. That's mean. That's mean, man. That is mean. It hurts. It hurts. This is just horrific football from Clemson. And I didn't think, after the LSU game, I knew there were issues offensively. However, I didn't know there were going to be this many issues defensively. They can't stop anybody. They cannot stop anybody. The defense, it looks like the team as a whole has given up. Okay, Cade Klubnik after the game, he was talking about how Syracuse just seemingly, every time Clemson wanted to go up-tempo, Syracuse had an injured player. Okay, Cade Klubnik, maybe you don't go 37-60. Maybe you don't do that. Maybe you have a better day throwing the football. Maybe you don't get your teeth kicked in at home. Maybe you don't do that, and maybe you win the football game instead of talking about how Syracuse has some funny injuries. Okay, get out of here with that garbage, Cade Klubnik. That was harder to watch, that post-game press conference, than this entire football game. And the football game was hard to watch for Clemson. No, at no point in this game did you think, oh, maybe here comes Clemson. No, it was over from the get-go. They jumped on them early. Clemson, funny enough, they've struggled running the football all year. They ran the ball pretty well, but they just couldn't because they got down so early. They had to throw the ball 60 times. It was just horrific. Maybe it's time. Clemson. Maybe it's time that you move on from Dabo Swinney. It's hard to move on from an all-time coach like that who brought your program to what it was 2 years ago. And it's hard to see something like that fall. It really, really is. I know there's a lot of people cheering this downfall of Clemson, but it's hard to see something that was brought from really nothing to winning 2 national championships, being in 2 others, and it's hard to see it fall this hard. It really, really is. I think it's probably time to move on. Get somebody new in there. Inject some new juice into this program. Move on, because it's ugly and it's bad. It is really, really bad. Credit to Syracuse. Lost their quarterback for the year, basically, with the torn ACL and jelly there. That's going to be tough. But they're a fun football team, though. Next up, Muffins. If you're new here, thank you so much for joining. Drop down below, hit the subscribe button. Muffins. Since the beginning of the show, I have this segment called Certified Stud Muffins. Okay, everybody knows what a stud muffin is, but on this show, we certify you as a stud muffin of that week. And what that is it is an exceptional performance from either a coach, a player, a side of the ball, a defensive unit, an offensive unit, a special teams unit, maybe a team as a whole, or a fan base in a big-time football game. Okay? Excuse me. So in week 1, we had Gus Malzahn, offensive coordinator for Florida State. Just great performance against Alabama. Then we had Sawyer Robertson, unreal performance against SMU in week 2. And then we had Gunnar Stockton last week on the road at Tennessee. Absolutely balled out. There were a couple places I could go. There were only a few big-time football games in this one. And statistically, I don't think John Mateer had the stats to do anything here to become a certified stud muffin, at least not on this show. You got to have something that, whoa, you really want to go, wow, okay? That's what this award is all about. There was really only one place I think I could go, and it's a first in the history of the show. It is a first in the history of the show. The Indiana Hoosiers. The entire football team. We'll give it to the entire state. Congrats to Indiana, the entire state. You have become a certified stud muffin. Okay, look, let me just read this. Okay, look, my preview coming in was Indiana hasn't played anybody, and maybe that was by design by Curt Cignetti. He knew what they had, and he said, well, let's let people doubt us. I see what we have in week 4, the preseason hype around Illinois. I know we're a better football team. Maybe we just have them come in here as a top 10 football team, and we obliterate them. Okay, that's what I said coming in. That's what I said coming in. And sure enough, Indiana, I didn't think that was going to happen. Let me preface that, though. That was my question. Maybe Curt Cignetti is a mastermind here, and it turns out that he is. They had a top 10 team come into their building. They were favored by 6.5. They won by 53. 63-10. Just utter domination. This game was over the second it started, folks. Fernando Mendoza, quarterback for Indiana, 21 of 23, only 2 incompletions, 267 yards and 5 touchdowns. Just pure efficiency right there. They ran the ball 49 times for 312 yards. They didn't play the school of the blind here. They played Illinois. 6.4 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. They had 7 sacks. They absolutely mauled this football team on both lines of scrimmages. It was horrific to watch if you're an Illinois fan. You probably turned it off. It was just an utter butt kicking, okay? Just absolutely from start to finish. Unbelievable football from the Indiana Hoosiers. Utter domination. Illinois, they had a 59-yard touchdown in the first quarter. After that, they had a total of 9 drives, okay? 9 drives. 5 of the 9 drives, that is over half if you're doing the math at home, went for negative yards. 5 of their next 9 of the next 9 drives that they had in the game after they got a 59-yard touchdown. 5 of the 9 went backwards. Not on the first play. As a total, -8, -6, -3, -1, -1. The longest play during that stretch was 16 yards, and it was on the drive right before half, which obviously Indiana's playing a little prevent defense, trying not to get anything over the top, so they were getting some dink and duck stuff. Illinois was. Just pure, utter domination. And that is why, in the first history of the show, Indiana becomes the first ever team, first ever state to be certified as a stud muffin. Congrats to Indiana. Curt Cignetti is a lunatic. All right, next up, we have my top 25. Got to take a sip here before we get into this, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. At number 25, the USF Bulls. They continue to be, I think, if not the best G5 team, the second best right behind Memphis maybe. I could have put Memphis here, but I still like UCF. I still like UCF at that spot. We have Texas at 24. Good, you beat an 0-3 Sam Houston team who's done absolutely nothing this year. Arch Manning standing over dudes might have been the least cool thing any quarterback has ever done this year. Horrific. At number 23, we have the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and some may say I'm just putting Notre Dame in so I can do Fighting Irish, and to those I would say, yeah, you might be right. Next up, Alabama at number 22. Off week, a big one coming up in week 5 against Georgia. Number 21, we have the Michigan Wolverines. Again, pounded the ball down Nebraska's face. Defense could have been better. At number 20, the TCU Horny Frogs. Excuse me, we got the sniffles. Allergy season, the tide is changing, the weather is changing. That fall to winter time where I live, really summer to fall to winter, it all kind of happens at one time. The nose gets a little congestion, so if I do some, disregard. TCU, first appearance in the What If poll. Josh Hoover, unbelievable quarterback. Everybody knew this coming in, and he continues to just show it. They had a wide receiver, blanking on his name. I believe he had 15 catches for 280 yards or something just insane. They're a really good football team offensively, just really fun to watch as well. At number 19, the USC Trojans, another team that just offensively is going to score a lot of points. Okay, defense leaves a little to be desired, but Michigan State's a much better football team than people realize. That was a good win last night. Iowa State right in front of them, off week. We'll see. Number 17, Georgia Tech. Look, Their one calling card right now is the win against Clemson, and it had to be a last-second field goal. Clemson's booty cheeks, so I'm not putting them that high up. Number 16, Mississippi State. This offense is for real. The offense is for real. Northern Illinois is not a team that you can just walk all over, and Mississippi State just obliterated them. Okay, top 15. Here we go. Buckle your chin straps. This is where we get some controversial stuff, I think. Everybody thinks your own rankings are controversial if your team isn't where you want them to be. Number 15, Tennessee Volunteers. You're only lost to a top 5 team in Georgia. Can't complain, but you're going to get penalized for a loss. Texas Tech. At number 14, I have half a mind to put Texas Tech in the top 10. I almost did, but I'm just not sure how good Utah is. Okay, I know I just touted how good this Texas Tech team is, and I think they are legit. We'll see in the coming weeks with some of these teams losing games. They'll move up, okay? Number 13, LSU. Your signature win continues to show that they stink. So you're going to get dropped, especially since you haven't looked good against an FBS opponent this year. Missouri Tigers. They have the best running game in all of college football. It's unbelievable. The outside zone, it flows so well, and they have 2 running backs, especially Ahmad Hardy. This guy was at Louisiana last year, I believe. He might have been at UL Monroe. He was at some school down there in Louisiana that's a stinky program. He transferred to Missouri, paid him a lot of money. The dude is awesome. He just bowling balls off of people. He runs a little bit like Ray Rice, in my opinion. Hopefully he doesn't do the things off the field that Ray Rice does. Number 11, Penn State. The teams in front of them have just had more impressive wins than Penn State has this year. Okay, that's why they're at 11. That's how these rankings should work. What if what we've seen on the field is what they are? At number 10, Vanderbilt. The offense from Vanderbilt is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. They are so good. The running attack is awesome. If you haven't watched Vandy yet this year, you need to. They're probably going to be undefeated when Alabama comes to town, or when they go to Alabama, excuse me. Ole Miss right in front of them. PSA to Lane Kiffin. I believe they go to LSU, or LSU goes to them here in week 5 coming up. Please start Trinidad Chambliss. Your offense is so much better with him in there than Austin Simmons. I have no idea how Austin Simmons won that starting job. Beats me. Number 8, we have the Indiana Hoosiers. Haven't done that this year. I've seen enough to put them in the top 10. Just an utter beat down of a previously top 10 team. You get a vault into the top 10. Yeah. Number 7, the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll see what they're made of here in a couple weeks. Number 6, OU. I dropped them from what I had last week. Saw some things that I didn't like, so you get penalized there. Texas A&M, no change, didn't play. Oregon, moved them up. Love the Oregon Ducks. They play Penn State on the road. Penn State's coming off a bye. Oregon just had the Civil War. Not sure that's entirely fair. But it doesn't need to be. Florida State at number 3, Miami at number 2, and Georgia at number 1. That is the What If poll for week 5. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you aren't subscribed, subscribe down below. Comment what you disagree with, and I will respond to you. We will have some civil conversation. Follow on the socials. Been putting a video out there every day. We'll have this poll out there if you would rather comment on the poll on the Instagram, the Twitter, or the TikTok there, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Ian Fritts. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye.
Whoa, he has trouble with the snap, and the ball is free. It's picked up by Michigan State's Jalen Watts Jackson, and he scores on the last play of the game.
45, 40, 45, 50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal.